Well, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to your favorite weekly horoscope. What the fuck is going on in the universe for September 14th through September 20th of 2020? My name is Cam White, and thank you guys so much for being here, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. You're probably wondering where the fuck I am. In LA, the air quality is literally so bad. I had to get out. So I'm over at my parents' house for the weekend. I was going to go to Palm Springs, but I was like, honestly, like, fuck it. I can just stay here for free rather than having to go and get a hotel room. But the air quality is so bad, and it sucks because the air quality is really bad here too, because my parents live over in like the Beaumont area, which basically was where that gender reveal fire was at. So basically all of Beaumont right now is just covered in smoke. So I didn't really get to get away from the bad air quality, but it's better than LA. LA's air quality was literally like Beijing. Like, it sucked. So anyway, that's why I'm here. Also, I just kind of brought my microphone, brought my, laptop. Didn't get the right setup that I usually have. So everything's going to be a little bit kind of different today. So if there's any problems, just bear with me. I know you guys are okay with it. The other thing is too, I'm sure everyone can relate to this. I am fucking exhausted. I am so drained. I am so tired. It has been so hard to just even have the stamina to do anything. And the smoke here too hasn't really been helping either. I'm sure you guys are all tired. I'm sure you guys are all exhausted. If you're feeling exhausted, then you're feeling that Mars retrograde. Sorry, I wish I could help you out or give you advice, but I'm working through it too. I'm doing the best that I can. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started with this week. This week does look good. I'm actually recording this literally like an hour after Jupiter Station Direct. So, like we talked about last week, Jupiter Station Direct, things are going to be moving forward. Something good is bound to happen. It's Jupiter and Capricorn. It ain't going to be perfect, but it is going to be pretty good for the most part. So let's go ahead and jump into what this week's going to look like. Starting off on Monday, we are going to be having the moon still hanging out in Leo. Luckily, it's not really going to be doing much in Leo. It had that conjunction with Venus on Sunday. But it's mostly just kind of hanging out in Leo, making a weird quincunx to the Capricorn stuff. Again, not really doing anything. The only other the only other thing on Monday is the sun trining Pluto. So to pull up the chart real quick. Again, there's not a whole lot going on. The only thing I wanted to mention is just with the moon here in Leo, this might be me being a little bit biased because Leo rules my 9th house. But I think with the moon in Leo, this is a good time to kind of reflect and kind of be, just kind of take some shit in. The moon's not really doing anything. With the moon in Leo, I think this is going to be a better time to kind of reflect on how we feel. Where do we need to feel more encouraged? Where do we feel discouraged? Again, when we talked about last Sunday, there was I went on a big rant about coming from the heart and putting your heart and your all into everything. And I think on Monday is just kind of like a time to really go, okay, do I have the heart? Do I have the, intensity to keep that up? Do I have the courage? Do I have the passion? And I think, in case you're not paying attention right now, there's a lot of draining energy. And when we use that fire energy, it's exhausting. It's tiresome. And I think with that moon in Leo, this is just the time to ask yourselves, are you exhausted? Are you filled with courage, or are you feeling discouraged? Are you not getting the validation or attention that you need, or are you finding places to step into leadership positions? Are you finding places to step into the light and be acknowledged? Because that's going to be kind of a thing here for the next couple of weeks, is that Leo energy of are you taking the spotlight? Are you being acknowledged the way that you should, or are you not? And how is that making you feel? The other thing too is the sun's trining Pluto, which honestly, at this point, with all of this shit in Capricorn and Virgo, who gives a fuck if the sun's shining Pluto? I just think as the sun's shining Pluto, there is a little bit of a power, not a bad power trip, but just kind of there's a little bit of the sun's in Virgo. When we're dialing things in, when we're getting specific, when we're tuning all of our knobs, and everything's just dialed in the way that needs to be, there is this power that comes with it, and that's Pluto. I think the other thing too is there can be a lot of fear, there can be a lot of overwhelmingness, but I think with Pluto, I mean, this is a trine. This isn't necessarily a bad aspect, right? So I just think as we kind of get things dialed in through Virgo season, as we get more specific, whether, depending on what Virgo rules for you in your chart, whatever you're dialing in, whatever you're bringing a light and attention to, because that's where the sun is at, whatever you're doing there is bringing some type of power, bring some type of power structure into play with Pluto and Capricorn. So that's just something to be more aware of. It's not necessarily something that's going to be right in your face, but just be kind of, aware. Anyway, we move into Tuesday. Tuesday, that's when we're going to have the moon making a trine to Mars before it enters Virgo. And then we're also going to be having Venus square Uranus, which the more I think about it, the more I honestly think Venus square Uranus. I personally, I'm kind of not looking forward to it. But as we get into Tuesday, and then we have the moon make a trine before. And by the way, I don't know if you guys can see the time here, but this is by 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So this is by like the end of the day, Tuesday. The moon's going to make that trine to Mars and then go into Virgo. And as the moon makes that trine to Mars, I think this is just kind of highlighting, where do we need to feel encouraged? Where do we need to be like Mars is retrograde squaring Saturn. Like, here's the fucking real deal. And this is something that I've been really, God, like, I can't even tell you guys how much I've been struggling with my anger lately. And just struggling with a lot of stuff. Like, honestly, everything in my life's going really well for once. Not anything bad, but just like emotionally and internally, like been really struggling with my anger, been really struggling with my pride. And with this moon trine Mars, I'm kind of looking forward to this because this, I think, is going to be kind of a pump up. I think with the moon in Leo trining Mars, retrograde squaring Saturn, this is kind of like, hey, this is hard. This is really fucking hard. But if there's anyone that can do it, it's you. And I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about you guys. Like, this is hard shit right now. These are hard fucking times. We're all fucking tired. We don't have the fucking energy to do shit. It's like everyone I know is just like, it just doesn't stop. You know what I mean? Does life ever stop? Do all these problems ever stop? No, but at this moment, just everything is just piled on and it doesn't fucking stop. But this moon in Leo trining Mars, I think it's like, hey, but we're here. I look back to, I coached a youth camp one time, and it was basically we took like boys from like age like 10 to 13, and we taught them like leadership skills, team building skills, and I'll never forget this this kid. He was one of the challenges that we have them do is we have them scale a cliff. And a lot of these kids have never done a lot of hiking. They're mostly inner city youth, so they've never done a lot of outdoor stuff. They've kind of afraid of all this stuff. And there was this kid, Kendrick. He was super scared. He was this little kid. His older brother had been to the camp before, so his older brother was like, just like everyone loved his older brother. And he killed the cliff, like had no problem because basically they had to scale this cliff and then rappel down, right? And Kendrick was terrified. He was like literally shaking and almost crying like all day. Well, we finally got him to get up the cliff. And this moment, it changed my life forever. Like I'm going to try not to tear up thinking about this. But anyway, we finally got Kendrick to, we were finally like, dude, Kendrick, like you can do it. Like, look, everyone else today was able to scale. It's a pretty big cliff. It was like a 50-foot cliff. We were like, dude, everyone was able to do it today. Like, there's no way that you can't do it. Well, so we finally got him to do it. And he climbs up and he climbs up and he gets to the top, right? And I'm at the top because we have like safety people down and we have safety people on top. And I'm one of the safety people on top. And so Kendrick gets up and I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, look at you fucking go. You're like, you're at the top. And I was like, all right, now just rappel down. And this dude just starts, bawling his eyes out. And he's like, I can't get down. I can't go down. And I'm like, bro, you literally just climbed up to the top of this after you told everybody all day long that you couldn't do it. And you're standing here right now doing something that you said that you couldn't do, and you did it. Don't tell me that you're not able to walk down. And I just like kind of just had this one-on-one thing. Like I held his hand. I'm like, bro, like this is the moment. Like you're already up here. Like you can't back out now. Like you have to rappel down. And literally like rivers running down his face. He was so terrified. He was shaking. And like after I was just like, dude, like you've got this. Don't tell me that you can't. He just like pushed off the cliff. And within 3 jumps, just like rappelled down and like, whoa, that like changed my life after that of like, for one, being able to encourage some kid to like totally break through some mental programming that he had. But also just like, I'm bringing this into play with the astrology of this week because, with that moon trine Mars, you're already on top of the fucking cliff. There's no, like, you can't just stop the game. Like, this isn't a video game. You can't just restart it or pause. Like, finish what you fucking started. And I think this moon in Leo time is, get that like, you could stop halfway and get that encouragement that you need, but don't give up. And that's one of the biggest things that I think that you're going to see on Tuesday is just have that conversation with yourself, motivate yourself, encourage yourself. Like, don't stop now. Like, shit's fucking hard, but just fucking go for it, dude. Like, fuck what everyone, like, it's been really fucking pissing me off so much about, I've just been seeing a lot of astrologers being like, don't do anything, rest, relax. No, if you guys been watching my videos, I said don't do shit before because Mars was slowing down and squaring Saturn. Now that Mars is retrograde, Mars is moving, and Mars is squaring Saturn. When life's hard, doesn't mean you get to fucking stop and you get to rest. Like, you still gotta go. When it's like, when I had to deal with, like, my dad, like, going through cancer, or if you've had to go through any type of crazy life experiences, like, you still gotta go to work. You still got fucking bills to pay. You still gotta do shit. Life doesn't fucking stop. And I think on Tuesday, as the moon is in Leo trining Mars, like, you just got to remember, like, you're the shit. You're the only one that can fucking do this. And you got to remind yourself that you can. You may not have done it before, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it. And I think as we go into Tuesday, after the moon trines Mars, the moon will then go into Virgo, where we're beginning the new moon phase. But I think as the moon goes into Virgo, this is where we kind of, get specific about stuff. It's going to be kind of easy to overanalyze things. We've talked about that before. But the other thing I want to mention just with Tuesday is Venus squaring Uranus. With Venus squaring Uranus, honestly, I don't think for relationship stuff, this might be a little bit iffy. This might be a little bit, volatile. Venus and Leo squaring Uranus. Don't think that, I think with Venus squaring Uranus, there is a lot of unpredictability. I think Venus and Leo squaring Uranus is maybe don't get too cocky. Maybe don't think like everything's that good. Like, if, when we talked about, what we just talked about, encourage yourself if you feel like you can't go farther. But Venus squaring Uranus is like, while Uranus is also in Taurus, it's just get out of your comfort zone. You know what I mean? Venus and Leo too. It's like, there's a part of it where it's like, maybe if you're a little bit too cocky, there might be some volatility there. But the other thing too is like, if you're not comfortable receiving that attention or receiving that admiration, because I think that's one of the big things with Venus, because most people aren't really like, oh, look at me, blah, 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 I'm super comfortable in the light. Like 90% of people are like, do not fucking put attention on me. I hate that shit. With Venus and Leo squaring Uranus, like, don't be afraid. Like, you might be in a random position where you get attention or you receive more attention. And like, you're just going to have to be comfortable with that. Like, Uranus and Taurus is like, for one, it's changing what we think is valuable. It's being innovative about the valuable things in our life. Venus and Leo, maybe don't do a new makeup style or don't change your looks maybe, but just don't get too cocky, I think, with things. Don't get too obsessed over yourself. It's going to be kind of a weird balance between, you need to encourage yourself and also like, all right, calm it down a little bit. But it's the difference between like the moon trine Mars and like Venus. Venus is like, I love this. And Venus is like, I enjoy this. And this is pleasurable. Like the moon and Leo trining Mars that's much more of an emotional anger, frustration type conversation. While Venus and Leo is more of like fun. I think with Venus and Leo, like, don't go overboard with the fun. Don't go, just fucking do what you got to do and don't go overboard. That's what I'm going to fucking leave it as. Anyway, we get to Wednesday, and on Wednesday, that's when we're going to have the moon make that opposition to Neptune right before we have the new moon in Virgo, which basically trines Saturn almost exactly. So, we get to Wednesday. The moon makes, and the reason I brought up this moon Neptune opposition is, now that Neptune's retrograde, now that Neptune's retrograde, we just had the sun opposite Neptune. Now that the moon's going to go opposite Neptune, before we do this new moon in Virgo dance, the thing I want to ask is like, this is something, I actually just had like 5 clients where all the same thing just came up. Like, you can know all of your shit. You can have all of the specifics down. You can know all of the details. but like it's kind of like as a musician, right? You can know all of these chords, you can know all of these techniques, you can know how to do all of this stuff, but music's not really about that. Music's more about the feeling, the vibe. You just kind of have to trust the process, right? It's intuitive. And that moon in Virgo opposite Neptune is like the balance between knowing your specifics, like knowing the tools, knowing how to tune your knobs, knowing all the specific shit, but also being in the moment. You know what I said like last week? Don't ruin the magic. Like this week too, don't ruin the magic. Like you calculate everything. It's kind of like, you know, when you take a big leap in life, right? Or if you're like, for example, if you've never bought a house before, you can calculate all of this stuff and do all of this stuff, but you can see, oh, well, this house, I like this house, but I don't know about the foundation. I don't know about this. I don't know about that. You can worry and have anxiety about all the specific stuff, but at one point or another, you're just going to have to trust and make a decision. And I think with the moon making that opposition to Neptune, that's going to be the time to really kind of say, all right, like, not everything's going to be perfect. You're going to have to just choose one, though. And that happens right before this new moon in Virgo, which, again, it's not exactly trining Saturn, but it's basically a degree off. And I think this new moon is awesome, guys. This new moon in Virgo, like, we know it. We've done the math. We're not being stupid right now. We're doing the math. We're seeing how specific things can be. We're dialing in our tone as metalheads who, if I have any other metalheads here who play guitar, you know how obsessed we are with our tone and everything, which I think all guitarists and all musicians are obsessed with their tone. But like we're dialing in our tone. Now that this tone is dialed in, it's this new moon shining Saturn. Like, let's put down the work. Let's get real with it. Now that we've done the math, we've calculated the cost, we know what things are going to look like, lay down the foundation. This is time to, you know, now that we've calculated the cost of concrete, how much concrete that we're going to need per square foot, time to start pouring concrete. And I think this isn't necessarily a time to like, oh, like maybe the day to start pouring concrete, but like commit to it. Dedicate yourself to it. This is really constructive. Saturn's about to station retrograde. Not this week, not next week, but the week after that. You know, just be committed to what your goals are. Now that you've got the list, now that you kind of see things, this is also the time to make a plan. I told you guys too, it's been so, like a couple weeks ago, it's been so hard to make a plan and be clear about stuff. This is the time now where we can actually start to make a plan. We can actually start to see how we're going to be moving forward with things. So then we move on to Thursday. Thursday gets a little bit complicated because that's when we're going to be having Mercury square Jupiter, the moon enter Libra, and then the sun trines Saturn. So as we have this, first off, moon entering Libra. What was the other thing too? Mercury square Jupiter. That's right. Actually, let's talk about Mercury square Jupiter. With Mercury squaring Jupiter earlier in the day of Thursday, our ideas, our mindset, right? Mercury being our communication, our thoughts, versus Jupiter's kind of like our beliefs. Like Mercury in Libra is trying to be like, well, can we get away with this too? Can we also do that? And Jupiter is going to be like, I don't think we can add that. The only thing is there's a lot of delegating here. There's a lot of balancing. Mercury in Libra is kind of like, okay, can we add in this in order to get this result? Mercury in Libra squaring Jupiter in Capricorn. It's like trying to haggle, trying to bargain. And it's just like, I mean, you can, but it's not really probably the best idea. I think Mercury in Libra, it's like you're not going to get not everything in life. I mean, yes, you can have win-win situations in life with everything, but like I think this is more of the time of kind of like this isn't Jupiter and Sag, guys. We're not living in an insane amount of abundance. This is Jupiter and Capricorn. Sometimes you just got to get what you get and you don't throw a fit. And with Mercury and Libra, you know, you can kind of, you know, trade things here, trade things there, haggle a little bit, but you're not going to get too far with it. It's a square, right? And Mercury in Libra is kind of a pushover. We got, yes, Mercury is in the superior position here, squaring Jupiter and everything. But I think the way to look at Mercury being in the superior position to Jupiter is like, hey, are you being overly optimistic? Are you kind of balancing out your needs and your wants? Like Jupiter and Capricorn is like, it's definitely not overly optimistic, but Jupiter and Capricorn is like, you know, this is how reality is, and this is what I believe in. Mercury in Libra is just kind of asking like, hey, can you be a little bit more optimistic? Like, can you maybe kind of see things not so rigidly? and it's not an easy conversation to have, but I think it's just more of a day to kind of open up your mind, maybe take a step back and think about, like, taking new information is a good way to do it. Don't make a decision necessarily, but kind of open your mind up a little bit. The moon goes into Libra, where we're now talking about, okay, well, for one, the moon's about to make a gnarly square to Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, and then make an opposition to Mars, but that's later on. As the moon first enters Libra, this is, okay, now let's kind of balance some stuff out. Now that we've done all this Virgo stuff, trining the Saturn stuff, we've made all these plans, we've calculated all these numbers, we've made all of these lists. Now, as we go to do it, it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys do this. This is something I do a lot, and I get this from my dad too, because he was also Jupiter in Capricorn. I'll make this big fucking list of what I got to do in a day, and I know I can get it done in the day. But then it's like I try to do it, and then like something happens to where I only had the time to do 2 of those things, and it's like, okay, well, at least I got 2 of those things done, and I'll have to put on the rest of the list later. As the moon goes into Libra, sure, you've got this big list of things to do, but maybe just instead of trying to do it all in one day, maybe just get a couple of things done. Like, have some balance to it. It doesn't all have to be done right now. Anyway, the sun's also going to be trining Saturn. So again, on Thursday, this is feeling constructive. This is feeling good. This is feeling clear about where we're going, about, what we're creating, what we're building. This also means Saturn's about to station direct soon. But again, that's going to be later on. Whoops, wrong button. Again, wrong button. So then we get into Friday. Friday's interesting. I'm still curious as how this is exactly going to go, because when we get to Friday, we'll have this Moon Mercury conjunction, right? So for one, Mercury's kind of a microphone, right? Mercury's the messenger. And with the moon conjoining Mercury here, Mercury's like, what do you have to say, Moon in Libra? And I'm a Moon in Libra, right? So it's like, okay, let's be a little bit more realistic here. Let's be a little bit more Venusian. Like, things are actually pretty enjoyable, but let's also be a little bit more Saturnian. Like, there's some rules. There's a lesson here. There's a system. There's a structure that we have to have in order to do all of this. The moon's also squaring Jupiter, so it's like Jupiter in Capricorn's like, you only get this. And the moon in Libra conjoining Mercury's like, well, we can't really only use that. We actually need a little bit more than that. And the thing is too, I mean, you guys have known this since last year. I mean, anytime we've got the moon in Libra, all this Libra shit, it's squaring Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn. Now it's making oppositions to Mars. This isn't easy stuff. This is, with Mars squaring Saturn, it's like, oh, anger and frustrations of not going anywhere. And Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter, there's all this shit that's like, holding us back. The moon in Libra, we got to delegate, It's the same thing. Like in this country, unfortunately, in this country right now, everyone wants to be extremist this or extremist that, but we live in this great country where we get to actually make decisions and vote, and we get to see what is going to be best for at the time that we need it. And that's kind of like the Libra job here is like, hey, both, it's, like the South Park episode, turd sandwich or a fucking douchebag, whatever it is. Sometimes we have to delegate in between of what's going to be better in that moment. There's no, I mean, I might get shit talked on me for this. I like to view myself as a centrist because just like in life, if you're extreme this way or extreme that way, it's never fucking good and literally never leads to anything fucking positive. But knowing how to balance yourself and when to be more of this and when to be more of that is what comes in handy. And I think as the moon conjoins Mercury in Libra, sure, you can't do everything Mars and Aries wants you to, and you can't do everything Saturn and Capricorn and Jupiter and Capricorn wants you to do. But how can you, haggle it a little bit? You know what I mean? It's like buying something off Craigslist. You don't pay the actual price of what the person says. You fucking talk them down a little bit. And, again, this stuff isn't easy. And this is like a week-long process. This is take your time. Not everything's going to be perfect. Not everyone's going to be happy. The unfortunate part is we're going to try to be a win-win situation, but there's no winners in this. Look at the fucking astrology. There's no one winning here. There's no one being excited. Both sides are hurting each other. And I think with this being in Libra, we just kind of have to mitigate the damage here. Anyway, we move into Saturday. We move into this weekend. Moon then is going to be making a square to Saturn in opposition to Mars, where, and I want to emphasize this too, because Saturday's weird. We go from this wanting to balance position, Mercury, Moon, and Libra. We're like, hey, guys, we can all get along, right? Then we get to Saturday. and the moon's going to make a square to Saturn, opposition to Mars, and then go to Scorpio. And this is where we go, something's going to happen where it's like you're trying to be the delegator, you're trying to be the mediator, you know, you want things to go perfect. Then Saturday, and you're like, you know what? Fuck that shit. This is what the fuck we're fucking doing. Now, be careful. Like, with the moon squaring Saturn and opposite Mars, I mean, it's like 0 to 100 really fucking quick. Here, let me fucking change this too so you guys can see. The moon will literally make the opposition to first square Saturn, then go opposite Mars. So the moon square Saturn, where it's like, you know, Saturn in Capricorn's like, yeah, I'm not budging. I'm not going to change my price. And so then the moon, then Mars in Aries is like, well, if you're not going to change your price, then fuck you. Like, that's just Mars in retrograde in Aries right now. And the moon in Libra opposite that is like, okay, you know, there's no, it's like trying to get two kids who are like got in a fight, like, you know, trying to get them to like make up or whatever. And then one kid's just being a brat about it and the other one flips off and it's like, you know what? Fuck both of you guys. That's kind of like what's going on. Then the moon goes into Scorpio where, and I say be careful because it's going to be really easy to hold on to like powerfully charged emotions. And that's something personally, like, holy fuck, I've been struggling so much about not letting like overwhelmingly like angry emotions like get the best of me. Like, holy shit, dude, like the other day, like I got a text that I did not want to receive and it just like, it fucking ruined my day. And I was like, I'm usually so good about letting shit go, not letting shit get the best of me. But oh my God, like it ruined my day. And with this moon going into Scorpio, it's going to be really easy to just hold on to the pain and hold on to the resentment. But just try your best. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, don't do that. Cause you're probably going to do it anyway. It's like, you know, when someone hits you in the face, like you're going to be fucking mad and you're probably going to want to hit them back. It's probably not the best idea to do that, but that's just how you're going to feel anyway. It's about, okay, if you're going to feel that way, let's mitigate the damage a little bit. The moon in Scorpio, rather than feeling super angry and then acting out of revenge or acting out of righteousness, you know, maybe just put a pause on that and go and scream in your pillow and punch your pillow and just do shit like that and don't actually take anger or anything out on anybody or something like that. With the moon going into Scorpio after that square to Saturn, opposition to Mars, this is emo city. This is like total emo kid fucking vibes of like, you know, but like the world, I hate the world and the world hates me. Like it's gonna be really funny, honestly. Like we'll look back and we'll laugh at it, but in the moment we're gonna be really fucking pissed. I'm not looking forward to Saturday, to be honest with you guys. And I wish so bad I could sit here and tell you guys everything's gonna be great and we're all gonna love each other and there's gonna be world peace and we're gonna fight climate change. But no, I'm not here. I'm an astrologer. I'm not astrology. It is what it is, man. So, you know, just do your best just do your best. Okay. That's the only thing I could say. Like, these are challenging times. Nothing is fucking easy right now, but with that challenge, that does not give you an excuse to do whatever the fuck you want. Make that very clear. Just because the astrology says that you can be angry and the moon's in Scorpio and this and that, like, challenge yourself. Like, these are challenging times. Challenge yourself. You know, it's like, I was telling someone, like, I keep getting people asking me, like, why did you start this workout program and why did you hire this trainer doing this? It's like, well, like, it's a really hard fucking program. I've never done it before. The astrology says this is really hard and this is something that you've never done before. Why would I do something that's hard and challenging when the astrology is easy, when it's comfortable? No, that means I'm going to try to be comfortable and easy. These are challenging times, so I'm going to do something that challenges myself. With this, you know, with this moon in Scorpio, I see a lot of you guys' comments. I read all of your guys' comments. Just, like, try to hold yourself more accountable. Challenge yourself to not let your anger get the best of you. Don't act on it. Do something different with this moon in Scorpio. That's what I'm trying to fucking say. Anyway, we wrap this week up. We get into Sunday. The moon goes opposite Uranus, squares Venus, trines Neptune, with Mercury squaring Pluto. This is where the tides turn a little bit. Now, you're going to have to give me a second because we just went through a lot of stuff. So, moon in Scorpio, for one, what was the first thing? It's opposite. It goes opposite Uranus earlier that day. With the moon opposite Uranus, again, you know, flipping the switch real fast. Moon in Scorpio, things are cool. You know, no big deal. But then all of a sudden, bam, fucking off to the fucking races on a sick one. It's going to be really easy. So, you know, when things are really easy, it's really tempting, right? But that's the part of this shit. This isn't, astrology doesn't say, oh, you know, do whatever the fuck you want. Like, okay, it's really easy to act out of control. Moon in Scorpio opposite Uranus. It's like almost like a free pass to do it. Does that mean you get to do it? It's like the same thing. Like when you go through, just my whole family's addicts, so I've this terminology, this type of language I've grown up with. But it's like if you're trying to go sober, and you're even at a restaurant with a bar, and all your friends are drinking, and they offer you drink, it'd be so easy to drink. But that's the whole fucking point of it. Like make it challenging to where like even when it's easy, you say no. And I think as the moon is opposite Uranus, it's just going to be easy to just flip out, get things out of control. Try to maintain stability where you can. The moon is going to be squaring Venus, where our pride's going to get hurt. We're like moon squaring Venus, and Leo's like, hey, I'm having a great time. Look at me. And the moon in Scorpio is like, yeah, well, you're fucking dumb. And it's going to be easy to hurt our pride. It's going to be easy to hurt our emotions. Trust me. Trust me when I say it's going to be real easy to get hurt. We're going to have all of the excuses in the world for this shit. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's not fucking worth it. Moon is also going to be trining Neptune. The things that we're upset about and the things that might flip our lid, we may not even be seeing correctly. Because Neptune in Pisces is instigating the moon in Scorpio. Like, the moon in Pisces is like, we'll just make up a story, right? Like, the moon in Scorpio trining Neptune in Pisces is like, yeah, you're angry. And like, that person also has talked shit to you about you before. And they've also done this. And the moon in Scorpio is like, yeah, you're right. Even though that's not right. That's a fucking just a made up story that you put in your fucking head. Like, don't make up a story in your head. Like the moon trining Neptune, it's going to be easy to be deceived. It's going to be easy to feel instigated. It's going to be easy to get your buttons pushed. Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. When this week happens, hear my fucking voice where I say, challenge yourself. Be cool. Be fucking cool. Because trust me, if you can handle your shit through this week, you can get through anything in life. And that's why that's one of the reasons why I've decided to do a lot of changes in my life. Is like, dude, if I can do all of these crazy changes in the most fucked up year that I've ever lived, that most people have ever lived, I can fucking do anything. No one's going to be able to tell me shit after that. If you can get through this week and you can keep your cool, ain't no one going to be able to tell you shit of what you can or what you can't do. Only other bad thing is Mercury squaring Pluto. Making mention of that, Mercury squaring Pluto. Mercury squaring Pluto, that's a change in on a personal level. That's okay, you know, like, hey, you know, it's kind of like a couple screws getting loose in your brain going like, okay, I'm a little angry. Okay, let's try to, it's like when you have to really keep your cool and you're like, like it's like really passive. Like if you've worked in customer service before and you really emphasize the customer service voice because it's just like, you're fucking done. The only thing though is while personally it's going to feel like you have to use your angry customer service voice to get shit done. Like I'll show you guys a story. I was at Guitar Center. I went to Guitar Center San Bernardino, which I don't know if you guys have been to Guitar Center San Bernardino, but those are probably the worst treated Guitar Center employees ever because literally everyone that Guitar Center sucks all the time. It's basically Disneyland. There's every time I go to Guitar Center San Bernardino, there's 1,000 kids in there playing every instrument at max volume. That's the only Guitar Center I've ever been to where it's like that. But this guy, I don't know. I'm not picking sides on this story, but this guy was like just trying to ask the girl at the Guitar Center desk, like, hey, I don't even know what he was asking, just ask some questions. And the girl, I'm not gonna lie, she was kind of being a bitch about it. Like she was just like, yeah, I need you to speak up because of the masks, sir. I can't hear you. And it's just like, that wasn't customer service, but man, she said something that really left an impact. And because he was kind of getting treated like shit. Like you don't go to in customer service, you're not an asshole, right? Like your job is to be fucking nice. But as a Guitar Center, you're gonna fucking shop there anyway. Well, anyway, the guy is like, dude, she's like, I was supposed to clock out 5 minutes ago, sir. So like, she basically just walked out and left, which in my opinion, like super unprofessional. Like fuck her for that. But then the guy's like, can I speak to your manager? And the girl just walks away. And she goes, go ahead. Just walked away. And I was like, damn, Mercury and Libra squaring Pluto. Sometimes you have to just be like, you know, go and talk to the manager. You can go get him your fucking self though. Like I don't have to escort you there. So just, find a way to mitigate the situation. But on a mundane level, this is what I want to talk about. Mercury doesn't enter shadow till next week. But with Mercury squaring Pluto, this Mercury retrograde is going to be pretty crazy for us Americans. If you're in Australia or Canada, great for you, okay? We get it. You don't live in fucking chaos like we do. But this Mercury retrograde is going to be really fucking crazy for the election and for just everything. With Mercury squaring Pluto, I guarantee in the news you're going to see something where you go, it's like, so imagine, do you remember Christmas or the first week of January where you first saw headlines? Oh, new coronavirus in China discovered. And you're like, huh, that's kind of scary, but whatever. We kind of just, it wasn't a big deal then. Mercury squaring Pluto is like some tiny thing comes up where you're like, oh, that might be a big deal later on. Guarantee on Sunday, Mercury squaring Pluto, something really small is going to be really big later on. So just pay attention to Sunday. So yeah, next week, Sun enters Libra. Not going to be good for solar stuff, but fall starts and we all like fall apparently. Mercury square Saturn. Not looking good. Not going to be fun. Next week, Mercury goes opposite Mars. Like, again, challenge yourself this week because you're going to fucking need it next week. And Mercury enters shadow next week. This week, I mean, I feel like the tides are just really turning right now in the astrology. But we're going macrocosmic and slowly going more and more inward. This week is very much like bigger stuff is changing and eventually it's going to come make its way towards us. Next week's fucking wild. Next week's going to be crazy. I don't think it's going to be as emotionally volatile as this week, but with Mercury entering shadow and squaring Saturn and opposite Mars next week, yeah, next week's going to be pretty brutal. So enjoy this week because it's not next week. Got it? I know. You're like, oh, Cameron, you're so negative. Oh, Cameron, blah, 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 blah. Honestly, if your astrologer that you watch listening to is telling you that shit's easy and to remain positive, fuck them. This week, like, welcome to reality. Shit's fucking tough. Are you going to toughen up or are you going to fucking bitch out? Because that's the reality of shit right now. Like, this isn't easy. Why lie to yourself? This isn't, and these are hard fucking times. And, like, hard times are going to show you what you're made of. And so this isn't the time to see what you're made of. And if, like, trust me, like, I struggled when quarantine and lockdown started. I kind of freaked out because I wasn't ready. I saw this shit coming from a while ago, but I didn't think the whole fucking world was going to stop. I don't think anyone fucking did. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of people saw, like, a virus coming and economic collapse and stuff like that, but the whole world stopping and, like, going on lockdown, that's pretty wild. I really struggled with that at first. And that's why over this year, I've been like, okay, Cameron, like, you've really got to change some shit about you because you can't handle this. It's why I quit nicotine. It's why I've been, working on being sober. This is why I've been wanting to work out more on my health. Because clearly I couldn't fucking handle it the first round. And I saw it and I was like, dude, if I can't handle the Mars-Saturn conjunction on my sun, how the fuck am I going to handle the Mars retrograde in September, October, November? So this week, it's going to challenge you. It's going to show you what you're made of. Next week's going to show, from here on out, guys, until February, it's going to show you what the fuck you're made of. This is the time to, not to pull up your bootstraps. Because I don't like that saying, but like, you have the opportunity to show yourself who the fuck is boss. Like I said, if you can fucking control yourself this week and you can fucking take shit under control, no one's going to be able to tell you fucking shit. Okay? So the way I look at this week is handle it. You guys fucking can. Have that conversation with yourself on the cliff. You're already up here. You're already doing all of this stuff. You're already halfway there. If you have climbed up the cliff, you don't just get to get off at the top of the cliff. You eventually are going to have to come back down. This week, like, you're already here. You're already in the middle of it. Just get through it, right? We've got another few months of this. So, get used to this shit. And this isn't, there's times in life to have fun and to be creative and to do all of the other fun stuff that we want to do, right? But there's also times in life where we have to take shit seriously, where shit actually matters and shit actually has meaning. From here on out, and for the next couple weeks, you're going to hear me with a lot more of a fucking attitude and a tone like this, because I'm not here to play anymore. This is real fucking life. This is real fucking life, guys. Like, and it's crazy. This is real fucking life. Shit's happening. Take it fucking seriously. Take yourself seriously. And also, too, you're the only person on your team. Telling yourself you can't, telling yourself that you're not able to, who does that help? Who are you trying to prove right? Like, the only thing telling yourself that you can, or that you're going to be able to, or that you can challenge yourself to, like, that's only going to help you. Help yourself this week. Like, telling yourself that you can't go through it, telling yourself that you can't make it, all that's going to do is hurt your brain. And trust me, I spent so much of my life saying, I can't do this, I can't do that, stupid, stupid, stupid. I got a Saturn and Aries, man. I pull out the biggest hammer and beat the shit out of myself with it. You can't do that this week. You can't do that from here on out. Yes, you're going to fuck up, but you've got to learn how to forgive yourself. But the biggest thing is not, yes, there's a part of this that's about self-forgiveness. But a lot of this week is like, dude, like, whether you fuck up or not, or whether you think you can or can't, like, you got to tell yourself you can, because that's the only way you're going to be able to get through this shit. And also, it doesn't fucking hurt. It does not hurt to tell yourself that you can, or that you can, whatever, because I know, trust me, I know, I read you guys' comments. You guys are fucking going through shit. Do not be discouraged this week. Tell yourself you can do it. Shit's hard. It's not supposed to be easy. If it was easy, we wouldn't be complaining about it. It is going to be hard. But man, when we get to February, and I'm saying February, you guys are gonna be like, oh, Cameron, February is so long. I know. Trust me, I'm not in control of the astrology. But once we get to February, you're gonna look back and be like, fuck, dude. I went through so much shit, and I am so much different after that, but I'm glad I went through it the way I did. I fucking handled it like a fucking boss, and I'm able to fucking move forward with shit. Like, you guys got to think long term here. This isn't about waking up and just getting through tomorrow. How are you going to get through the next few months? And the only way you're going to be able to do that is handling shit like a fucking boss. And you guys can. It's just it's about making the choice to do so. And trust me, you're going to be really fucking proud of yourselves if you can get through these next couple weeks, next couple months, and handle it like a fucking boss. And trust me, like I said, if you can get through these next couple months and you can handle it and get on top of your shit, do whatever you got to do, you can do anything, and not one motherfucker, not one fucking thing is going to be able to tell you otherwise. And so if you need a confidence boost, if you need really like big structural belief change about yourself, this is the time to deprogram and to rewrite your programming. And trust me, like, tell yourself that you can do it, that you're strong enough, that you can get through this shit, because man, by the end of it, we're all going to be some fucking really strong people and some really tough ass people, because we made it through this. I got to get off of this shit because I have to upload this through my phone and I have no idea how long this is going to take me to upload. So anyway, I love you guys so fucking much. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. Please tell me, don't tell me what you're going through. Tell me how you're going to get through it. And I'll leave you guys with that. Again, thank you guys so much. I'll be seeing you guys next week.